Hey guys, Will here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our video series on building a racing simulator. So if you cast your mind back about a month now, we started off this whole series by doing a bit of a driving test with my previous setup, which was just a Logitech G27 sitting on a Wheel Stand Pro. And you'll remember, you know, I'm using my gaming chair to do this, so, you know, the chair would move around and rock and roll and the stand would move from side to side, and it really wasn't a rigid or a overall good gaming experience, but it was the best I had at the time, and it was what I'd been using for about the past 8 years on the odd occasion that I was doing racing simulators and stuff. But now that I'm getting a lot more into racing simulators, I wanted to get some nice high-end gear that would really sort of hopefully improve my lap times and improve my consistency above anything else. So what you can see here now is we have our 55-inch curved Samsung 4K TV. We've got a FANATEC wheelbase 2.5. We've got a Next Level Racing FGT cockpit, and if you haven't seen the previous videos in the series, I encourage you to check that out. We've shown you the setup and everything, the construction of all of this, what we've used here, our button box and stuff like that. And there's still a whole bunch of videos to come in that regard as well, in terms of reviewing all of this gear as well. But the purpose of this video is to now go back and do the same test again, see if we're actually any faster and more consistent now that we've got all this gear set up. So we're going to be doing exactly the same test as we did previously, which is a time trial on F1 2018, which is the game that I'm playing the most of at the moment. Now, I know that it's not the most realistic simulation software out there, but it's the one that I'm the most experienced with at the moment. And to be honest with you, in Project Cars and R-Factor and iRacing and you know, Assetto Corsa and all those, my skills aren't really good enough yet that it was even a very, very good test at all. So, you know, trying to do a consistent lap time with the old setup just wasn't happening for me. So as I'm getting more into this, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into those games and getting a lot more skilled at those as well. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to be using F1 2018 simply because it's the one that I'm the most experienced with and the most consistent with. So it's a much better test for me. But obviously, as we go along, we'll be getting into those other games as well as other simulators and doing a lot more stuff there as well. So the two things that we're wanting to determine from this is A, am I faster, and B, more consistent than I was before. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to do exactly the same test as we did before, 5 laps with the racing line on and then 5 laps with the racing line off. All the other assistants are going to be turned off, so no ABS, no traction control, no steering assist or braking assist or anything like that. So only the racing line on and then off with no assist whatsoever. The reason we're going to do that is just to remove some of the inconsistencies in terms of braking points and stuff to compensate for my not particularly high-end skills. Now, obviously, because this system is relatively new to me, I've only got about 20-30 hours under my belt of usage with this setup. Now, obviously, with the G27 that I was using previously, I had about 8 years under my belt, so hundreds and hundreds of hours of game time. So I was a lot more familiar with that setup, we could say. But what I'm finding already is that I think I am a little bit more consistent with this setup, just simply because the quality of the feedback is so much better that you can really feel what's going on with the car a lot better, and there's a lot less guesswork going on with it. So looking at my lap times in time trial mode around Spa previously, I was doing between 1 minute 45 and 1 minute 49 over 5 laps. So really, really inconsistent with the racing line on. And then with the racing line off, the best lap that I did was a 147, and then I think it was a 152 or something. I had a spin, and it was so really, really inconsistent in general. It was sort of, you know, a good 5 seconds of difference between my best and worst lap, even within the course of a 5-lap period. And that was with a lot of hours under my belt with the G27 as well. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are a lot more skilled than I am, but what I really want to see is, you know, given my skill set, how much better I am with this setup. So look, we'll stop talking now. We'll jump into the game and see how we go. Okay, so move across to time trial mode and modern cars, Mercedes as we did before, and scroll across to Spa. There we go. Now we're going to start off with racing line on as we mentioned before, and then we'll switch it off after 5 laps and see how we go with both. So as you can see, all the assistants are off at the moment. We'll switch on corners only. Only thing we've got on is pit assist, which makes no difference because we're not going to be going in the pits anyway, so we'll leave all that as it is and start session. Okay, now one other thing that we do just need to quickly check as well is that we're on the default balanced car settings as well. So we'll just go quickly in there, show you that too. So there you go, balanced default preset 3. So no changes to the car setup, exactly the same as it was in the first test with the G27. So let's hit the track. I'm actually feeling a little bit anxious because the stakes are high. I've spent a lot of money on this rig and I'm really hoping that it'll make a difference. It's the first time I've done time trial since purchasing the rig, or since building everything, so Oh, I've overshot that completely. That's alright. Get a decent run for the lap still. Alright, let's go. That was horrible. That's okay. We're getting our eye in still. So this is looking like it's going to be a high 146, I think. Which is not too bad for a first lap. Oh, we gained a bit of time there actually, 146.4, not too bad. Doing alright so far this lap, we're close to our PB. Oh nice, that was quick. Oh, we're close to our personal best here on the second attempt, which is a good sign. Oh, that wasn't the best. If we get a good run through the final chicane, we might better our personal best, I think. Pretty close. Oh, it looks good. Nice. 145.2. I'm getting a little bit too aggressive now. That was horrible.
this should be a 146 flattish as long as I get a good run. So we'll see. Still much more consistent than before. This actually feels like a bad lap, but it's still not actually that bad. Oh, that wasn't so good. Oh, that felt nice. Oh, a bit wide. Oh, I'm turning in too late. Alright, one more lap. Not too bad. Okay, is that the end of the fifth lap? Yeah, it is. Alright, so jump out, end the session. Okay, now I can't really see past my wheel here. I'm going to have to sit up, but... Okay, so 145.5566. So that was... We actually had our PB of all time there. Look around, 145 flat was our projected theoretical best. We actually had a better first sector on the last lap that we did, actually, which is interesting. Only by a little bit, though. But, yeah, look, I mean, that's obviously way more consistent than we had with the G27, plus also our PB as well. And bear in mind as well that I'm way less experienced with this wheel than I was with the G27. And I think the main difference that I'm feeling straight away is just that because it's so much precise and the feedback is so much more precise, you get a much better feel for what the car's doing underneath you, so you can modulate your steering input and your throttle and brake a lot better. And because the throttle and brake are much less like on-off switches as well, they're much more progressive, you can really balance the input and modulate the input for both the brake and the accelerator through turns. So you get the maximum speed. You can feel when the car's sort of starting to move underneath you and back off a little bit without lifting right off the throttle and backing out completely. And I think that was where the limitation was with the G27, is that you'd really, you'd feel the car start to move and you'd back right off and lose a bunch of time. Whereas you don't need to do that with so much. You can sort of teeter on the edge of grip without it sort of going off on you. So anyway, let's go back out now and we'll go back in with the racing line off and see whether that additional consistency translates across to not having a racing line either. So go back in exactly the same way as we did before, back across to Spa again. Okay, so back in Belgium again, and we'll go across to preferences, whoops, and assists, and this time we're going to turn off the corners. So all of the assistance is off apart from the pit assist, which obviously we're not using here because we're not going to be going into the pits. And back across, balance default setup, so that's all good. And let's get going. Go. I tend to be a little bit aggressive with the curbs when I'm not using the racing line, so I'm going to try not to be over the top with it. Really, through our Rouge there, you really feel the G-forces through the steering wheel. Like you just didn't get that sensation with the G27 at all. Could have been faster there, that's okay. It wasn't too bad, could have been better. Whoa. .146.3, not bad. So that was what, 1.2, 1.3 seconds slower than my best racing line on, but I think that was about 2 seconds faster than I was able to do with the G27 with no racing line, so definitely makes a difference there. Obviously the key is going to be the consistency, so we'll see how we go for the next 4 laps. No pressure. Screwed that up a bit, that's okay. little bit late on the brakes there, that's okay. Oh no! Screwed that up. So unfortunately we got a slow start to this lap, but we'll try and make it up throughout the turns. That felt better. That definitely felt smoother then. Flat, not bad. So there's no question we're definitely doing a lot better than we did with the G27, no question at all. We're on average, whoa, we're on average about 2 seconds a lap faster, I think, but we'll have a look at the times and compare them a little bit later on. I think that's where I'm losing the time through that section there. I feel like I could be a lot faster through that bit, but that's one of the main things as well. Is it like with the G27, I genuinely didn't feel like I could actually go any faster than I already was. Like I felt like I was already at the limit of what I was capable of with that wheel. Whereas with this, I feel like I'm still getting used to it, and I feel like there's a lot of time to be. I mean, even the fact that I'm faster with the racing line on proves that there's time to be gained. But I feel like there's way more potential here than, you know, as I improve my skills, I'll get a lot faster. Whereas with the G27, I didn't feel like there was anything left in it for me. And I know that there's guys out there that can go crazy fast with that wheel, and faster than I'll ever go with this, but yeah, I just really struggled getting any more out of it because I just didn't have that, you know, authentic feeling of, you know, understeer and, you know, modulating the brakes properly and everything. So this is just so much smoother and so much more easy to drive and a lot more enjoyable as well. So let's have a look here. That's 5 laps. So we'll jump out in the session. And okay, so how did we do? So 146, 46, 47. So we had 3 seconds of variation there, but overall, I mean, like, we had 2 pretty consistent laps there. I kind of backed off on the last lap because I was talking a bit, but yeah, the overall combined best was, what we were looking at there, 145.9, so a second slower than I was with the racing line on. But I mean, comparing that to the times that I was doing previously with the racing line off, I mean, there's no comparison at all. I think I invalidated 2 or 3 laps there, and it was just an absolute mess. I think my best lap was like a 148 or something. So, like I said, there's still a lot of improvement there to be had. I feel like I could go a lot faster than I am with this wheel, whereas with the G27, I felt like I was kind of at the limit. So, look, I mean, in terms of, you know, the realism and the immersion factor is obviously all part of the reason why you would buy something like this as opposed to just a cheap setup, but like I said, there's a lot more potential in here, and I think I'm going to get a lot faster as I practice more. So, also, as I mentioned at the start of the video, this isn't the most realistic simulator program either. There's obviously, you know, you got iRacing and R-Factor and stuff like that as well. And I'm going to be getting into those a little bit more as we progress. But I use this game because it's the game that I'm playing at the moment. It's the game that I've got the most experience with the G27 as well. There was no point in sort of jumping into a new game and, you know, trying it with the G27 and then trying it with this. Look, that's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting and useful. If you have, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell as well, so you don't miss the next one. Next up, we're going to be doing a bunch of reviews on all of this gear, so the wheels, the wheelbase, the switch box that I made, the pedals, the TV, the F1 GT or the FGT rig that we've got here as well. And yeah, so we've got a bunch of stuff to come yet, and then we might get into some streaming of some games as well if you guys are into that. So let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.